What is a great disappointment? Well, the Millerite movement believed that something was going to happen in 1844. They believed that Jesus was going to return to the earth to cleanse the sanctuary. Jesus did not return to the earth in 1844. It was called the Great Disappointment. Remember that we talked about this. The 70-week prophecy began with the restoration of the sanctuary, God's people being led out of captivity, the restoration of the sanctuary. What happened in the 70-week prophecy on a literal local level happens on a larger level with the 2300-day prophecy. And let me explain what I mean by this. In 31 AD, the disciples were under the impression that Jesus was about to set up his kingdom on earth. Remember, they walked with Jesus 3.5 years. They talked with him. He taught them. And yet, they did not rightly understand his mission. So what happens when Jesus dies? The disciples experience a great disappointment.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, that's interesting. The disappointment was they did not understand the events of the 70-week prophecy, the first part of the 2300 days, right? So what happens? 3 days later, you have Jesus resurrecting from the grave. He is on the road. Remember the disciples on the road to Emmaus? And Jesus reveals to the disciples on the road to Emmaus, they're probably walking through a cornfield or something. I don't know. They're probably walking somewhere really, really discouraged, right? And they're probably like maybe wanting to hide their faces from people because it's like, man, we were preaching that Jesus was about to come and do this and that, and we were wrong.
Yeah.
And it's on the road to Emmaus that these two disciples get the glimpse of what actually was to transpire. Their great disappointment turned into the cornerstone of the movement. All right, just check that out. The thing that you would think they would be most embarrassed of, man, we were preaching that Jesus was going to come and set up camp on earth. That thing became the cornerstone. That's what caused the movement to grow so rapidly. So watch this. Jesus resurrects, right? And then he ascends to heaven. So what are the disciples going around and saying now? Oh, Jesus is in a heavenly sanctuary. And what are the Jews saying in response to this? Man, y'all are making up face savings. Oh, okay. So first he was coming.
That's good.
First he was coming to do this, and y'all got that wrong. So, now he's in a heavenly sanctuary. For sure. Where we can't see him, huh? Yeah, I guess where he's standing in the midst of 7 candlesticks. And so watch this, guys. The very same events that occurred at the 70-week prophecy. Whoa. Very interesting that the very same circumstances occur in 1844.
Amen.
Because it is after this great disappointment that you have two of that would be the pioneers of our movement walking in a cornfield. They're discouraged. They're depressed. They're like, man, we don't want anyone to see our faces. We have messed up. We don't even know how we messed up. They're not denying that they messed up, but they're embarrassed. When it suddenly is revealed to them by the Spirit of God that the sanctuary to be cleansed was not an earthly temple, was not this earth, which is what they were under the impression of. The earth is a temple. Christ is coming to cleanse the temple. No. There's a heavenly sanctuary. And that's when they began to look at the Old Testament type of the sanctuary to see that the Day of Atonement was about the high priest moving from one phase of ministry to final phase of ministry.
Yeah.
And so the very thing that was to be our embarrassment. Oh yeah, let's not talk about 1844. Have become the very cornerstone of our, take that away from us, take away the great disappointment from us, and we have no reason to exist as a movement.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's everyone around us saying? Oh, y'all are making up stuff because you got it wrong. So, oh yeah, now Christ moved from one compartment or one phase of ministry to another phase of ministry. Y'all are just making stuff up to save face.
Very
Praise the Lord.
good. I mean, that was, yeah, it opened my mind.
Praise the Lord.